All right, guys, Wednesday, right? Week 1 on the road division opponent against Jacksonville, a team we have a lot of respect for. Coach Marone does a great job with those guys, and we've had a difficult time down there. So, our goal is to have 3 good practices this week and focus on our preparation and get ready and go down there and play a good football team, but execute for us in all 3 phases and take care of business that way.
Okay, we'll go Kevin Bowen.
Hey, Frank, Chris on Monday mentioned you guys isolating a quarterback each week. Was that COVID related, and what exactly will that be?
Yeah, I'm not going to go into the specific plans, but we've talked about all the options that, we're going to always have a plan, and we'll adapt as the season goes.
Joel Erickson.
Frank, you guys talked a lot about bringing the explosive play back to the offense. A lot of times we think of that as the high arcing deep ball, the go route, 9 route, or whatever. But is there a lot of different ways to get those passing plays back in?
Yeah, I mean, certainly that's one way that you're talking about, to get the deep ball. So, and, we plan to get our share of those, but obviously, we have great players that we think with the ball in their hand can create explosives, with their own ability. And I think schematically, we want to try to, set things up at the right time and in the right way to get good long catch and runs. And then I think a third way that you get explosive plays is, when you got a quarterback like Phillip who has seen and experienced what he's experienced, you got to figure that he's going to check us into a couple plays that will turn into explosive plays just with, he's just had a knack of doing that over the years. And so, maybe we get 1 or 2 explosive plays a game based on something he sees and checks to.
Jim Aiello.
Hey, Frank, I might be asking another question you can't answer, but I'm just curious about the guys you're protecting on the practice squad. And then if you can tell us who they are, that's fine. But just what kind of goes into that decision for you guys every week? Because that'll be something a little bit different this year.
Yeah, Chris and I have talked about that. That's going to be a week-to-week decision. We're not going to talk about who that is or why we're doing it or not doing it. But that's something that we've talked about and have a plan for. And and feel like we have good whys behind what we're thinking.
Mike Chappell.
Frank, you've made it clear why you brought or what you saw with Phillip to convince you to bring him here. What are your expectations? You know what he can do, what he can't do. What are your expectations for him this year?
Just want Phillip to be himself. I know he will. Great leader, very comfortable in his own skin. Just to be him and know that he has a good football team around him. Just play good, winning football. Execute what's called. Use your experience and your intelligence to make the checks. Do it with confidence. Don't feel like you have to win the game for us every week. We got a good team. We got a good roster. But he's a big part of, any success that we're going to have. It's a quarterback position. So, take what they give you. He's extremely accurate. He has a great knack for the big play. So, obviously we're hoping to get some big plays, because of his ability and knack to do so. But, also, I've been in games with Phillip where, he's 20 for 25 and it's dink and dunk. And he can do that with the best of them as well. Sometimes different games dictate different things. Just take what they give us when shots are there, be aggressive, and don't think twice about it. But expect big things from him.
Stephen Holder.
Hey, Frank. I know that this was a challenging preseason and camp to kind of get your team ready, just because under different circumstances in terms of how you practice and the intensity and those sort of things. You had a plan. Did you feel like it was productive in terms of, it seems like you're pretty injury-free for the most part going into the season? Did you think that there's a relationship there between the way you practiced and went about it and the research that you did at all?
I do think that we had a plan. I think that we executed the plan. Players did a great job taking care of themselves. At some level, the plan was slightly shorter practices, increased intensity. As far as when we back down, days off, lighten the load here. Right now we're in pretty good shape, as a team from an injury standpoint. So, that's a tough thing to call, Stephen, on a year-to-year basis. There's a lot of factors that go into that, but certainly all things considered, when you look at our roster and the health of our team right now, I feel pretty good about where we're at.
Mike Wells.
Hey, Frank, obviously everybody knows Philip's resume, what he's been able to do, but one stat that's really stood out is that he's been sacked at least 30 times in 9 of the last 10 seasons. How much better can he be playing behind an offensive line that you guys have, which is arguably, one of the best in the NFL?
Yeah, I mean, sacks, as you guys know, we talk about it a lot. I mean, sacks involves the whole offense, including the quarterback, but it all starts with the O-line. So, we've established a pretty good operation as far as how we protect the quarterback, as far as how we think about protecting the quarterback, about, really minimizing our sacks to the best that we can. We're not, sometimes you just got to play ball, but and I got to say, a lot of what I've learned and experienced, a good part of that was when I was with Philip for 3 years in San Diego. I mean, this guy's really, really smart in the protection world. So I expect that we'll do well in that field. Now, we're playing on the road against a very good defensive football team that has some very talented pass rushers. So you can't overreact to one thing here or there. You got to look at the whole body of work over a 16-game season. So, there will be ups and downs, week in and week out. Maybe one game we give up a few more sacks than normal, but then, as you guys have seen, we've also had the ability to go on streaks of 2, 3, 4, 5 games without giving up a sack. And Philip's great with the protection calls. He's really smart at getting the ball out of his hands. He has a really, really good offensive line in front of him, so I think we'll be very productive there.
Do you notice a difference in the confidence level of a quarterback, even when you played, when you have a unit that does pretty good for the most part protecting you?
Yeah, because a lot of it, Mike, is, good point, because a lot of it is this game comes that you make the calls, right? I'm sitting here telling you how smart this guy is, and he's going to get a hat on a hat, as we say. But getting a hat on a hat doesn't get the job done. I mean, you still got to block the guys. So, as a quarterback, when you have a lot of confidence in those guys up front, you make the call, you more confidently stand in the pocket, with your eyes downfield. So that definitely has an effect on your confidence in the pocket.
Bob Kravitz.
Yeah, hi, Frank. Pretty straightforward question. What will you miss most about not having fans in the stands, both at home and even on the road?
I mean, it's just, we know it's a big part of this game. I mean, the fans are a huge part of this game. Coaches and players, we embrace that. I mean, that's going to be sorely missed. I mean, fantasy football is great. Everything that they do now to involve the fans in other ways, but fans in the stadium and the passion and the exuberance and some of the things you see when you look up into the stands, not that you get that luxury too much, but I can even think back to, my playing days where the players sometimes in between series are, glance up there and, you look up at your family and, we just scored a big touchdown and you see the fans in the end zone going crazy. Those are great moments. They're a big part of this game. And, the players, the fans and the media, I mean, help make this game what it is. So we'll certainly miss that. But I think, there'll still be a lot of excitement and energy around games. It'll just look a little different.
Thanks.
Zach Kiefer.
Frank, was the captain vote completely players only? And were you surprised or not surprised that Philip, a newcomer, was elected a captain?
Yeah, it was completely players only. I was not surprised. I think I mentioned, I told the guys I was going to be a hard vote because there are a lot of guys really worthy. It is, I think, hard to come in from another team and be elected captain, especially with no off season to have OTAs and stuff like that. But, I think Philip has done a good job really embracing the leadership role, and doing things that come natural to a leader. So I think, that at the end of the day, the guys saw that and felt that.
George Bremer.
Coach, from the outside looking in, it seems that the offense, a lot of the new parts came together pretty quickly, gelled pretty quickly. What's the internal view of that, and are you surprised at all that it's happened as quickly as it has?
No, it does feel that way, George, and that's a credit to the players. But I really also give Nick a lot of credit. Nick Sirianni, our offensive coordinator, working and the staff, just really working to assimilate how we're going to adapt our offense to the few personnel changes that we have, and how are we going to, get ready, without OTAs. So I think they've done a really good job. I think the players have done a good job. I think right now, obviously, we got 3 days of practice ahead of us that are extremely important. But I think we're coming into this week feeling like where we are where we need to be. And but as we know in this league, you got to earn it every day, and then there's still no guarantees. You got to play that thing out. So I'm looking forward to it.
Okay, we'll go 3 more. Phil B.
Hey, Coach. Thanks for your time. I know you know this. Colts haven't won a season opener since 13, and haven't won a Jacksonville since 14. Any motivational value when you talk to the guys about that, or you don't have to say much about it?
I mean, it's been mentioned. I actually didn't mention it. We had somebody else in the meeting. George Lee was going over some of our situational football stuff, and he brought that to the guys' attention. Maybe there's a little bit of motivational value. I don't think there's much, to be honest. I think this is this year's team. We need to win this year, and so I think that's where all the focus is.
Anthony Calhoun.
Hey, Coach. Great to see you. Question for you. Knowing what has transpired over the past 4 months, how much more do you yourself or just been around your team appreciate having the opportunity for week 1 here? Actually play football.
Yeah, AC. I mean, yeah, it's huge. I mean, you can feel the energy and excitement. All the anticipation through the whole off season of everything that's happened. Are we going to have a season? What's it going to look like? Is the season going to get pushed back? Will we be playing week 1? What's all the protocols going to look like? I mean, how what's going to happen? And here we are, practicing on a Wednesday. Getting ready to hop on a plane on Saturday to go down to Jacksonville and play a road division game to start the season off. I think all around the league, you're going to find guys we're at a good spot. We're at a good spot. This is where we want to be. We want to be able to have an impact, play the game that we love, play the game that our fans love, and that the media loves, and really bring some, in some ways, some relief and some joy, to our country, and rally around something that we all can enjoy. I know not everybody loves football, but it's a very popular game. We're very excited to be part of it and glad that we're here, on the cusp of week 1.
Last one, Kevin Bone.
Frank, I know you mentioned AC got banged up last week. Will he practice today? And is there any chance Julian Blackman would play this week?
Yeah, no, I'm not going to, we're good. I said, we're in pretty good shape health-wise. We'll just let the injury reports kind of fill out all the details there, but feel good about where we are right now.